Yeah, no, we're back with the Ask. This is Dr. Hanson, PT. I have joining me Kyra and our celebrity guest over there is Vaughn from ACC.
Yes.
In the Inland Empire, the Ontario campus. ACC is not a sponsor of the Ask podcast, but however they could be.
Yes,
it could be ACC. Thank you, Vaughn, for sharing your tuition dollars with your donuts earlier today. I really appreciate that. No comment. Can you?
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Wow.
Vaughn. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. That's a higher level audio voice. So our podcast today really goes over the Baber method. We had an opportunity to spend time with Jeremy Baber. The podcast episode 1 and 2 released, and now we're sitting here having spent some time with the Baber method over the last few weeks, and
Yes.
it's kind of like you listen to the podcast, right, Kyra?
I do listen to the podcast.
Okay, did you? That sounds like Kyra has not yet listened to the podcast. I'm podcast
yet
shaming.
to listen to the most recent podcast.
I'm podcast shaming Kyra, just in case.
Hi, Jeremy, if you're listening.
I think it was because he threatened to dunk on you. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah.
It's a Kobe
He can
method
keep
thing.
trying.
Wow. I think I have the video, Jeremy. I don't want to release a video of Kyra like shaking you out of your shoes then dunking on you. She actually did a
Easy
layup.
money. Easy money.
Whoa, listen to that. Jeremy, I hope you're paying attention to this, man. This is rough stuff, you know.
I was so shy when you came here. I was like, too many people.
Too many people. Kyra says she's not a social butterfly, but I disagree.
I'm not.
I don't know.
What,
Vaughn,
you disagree? You think I'm a people person? I can be, but I can be, but don't want to be.
Kyra's a total people person. She loves to fake the funk like she's not, but I've seen so many people hang around Kyra. Listen, if you think Kyra is not a people person,
Give us a thumbs up. Like this podcast if you think I'm not a people person.
this is going
I mean,
on.
no. Give a thumbs up if you think I'm a people person.
We're going to put this on Instagram. So
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So give us a thumbs up.
thumbs down. Who votes for a thumbs down in a podcast? Wow. Wow, gee, thanks, Kyra.
Just kidding.
Wow. We understand where you're going with this. So going back to the Baber method now, even though Kyra has not yet listened to the Baber method podcast. And you can download it, by the way. I just want to point that out.
Yes,
You can download the podcast on Spotify, so don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you listen to Spotify.
I subscribe to the podcast.
You subscribe to the podcast, but you didn't download the podcast.
Dun, dun.
No, I just have it, what do you call it? Pinned. Like it's on like your followed podcast.
So then you get to recognize it.
Yes, and be like, hey, you have any recommendations for a podcast? And I'm like, here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. So here's the thing. With the Baber method, have you had time to use it yet?
Yes, in the last, how long is it? Like last month now, I think. Because that was before Christmas. And I've incorporated it a lot more. And I've seen some really surprising results. I mean, not that I wasn't expecting much, but
I don't think you expected much. I'll be honest, I didn't expect much.
yeah, I wasn't expecting much, but ever since I've kind of incorporated it into my practice, and then I started reassessing a lot of the tests and measures that I did prior to doing or going to the seminar for the Baber method. I've seen some significant results, and like especially in neurological conditions, I've seen a decrease in like tremors and increase in stability, improvement in their gait pattern. Those are just simple things that I've noticed in the last month or so. Yes.
I have to say that I feel like after having gone through the course and then having an opportunity now to actually try it, the funniest thing that I've done is that I'm going to call you out, bro. Sorry. Mako, right? Mako on our team. Stay tuned for his whole series coming out. But Mako he literally came in and said, yeah, "This is trash, right? Like I don't believe this thing is thing." Vaughn, you were there that day, right?
Yes, sir, I was there.
So I had to take him. I had to take him out because we were testing amongst ourselves. And the one thing about the Baber method that I find interesting is that it's the test, treat, and response that I get out of every session that makes it so intriguing to me. So I go ahead and take him across to the fitness center. Shout out to Corona Hills Fitness and Boxing across the way. And what ended up happening was picked out a total random stranger because I thought it was fascinating to try that. And I said, we're taking you to Muscle Beach to do this because I think it's awesome. The test retest on this is like incredible. Like, so I took him, found a random person. We said random person do these things. And the random person got the same results, did the test, did the retest. And even the random person guy, thank you, random person guy, by the way, he was like, oh, shoot.
Whoa.
Like, and to me, it's just the response to the interventions that made it worthwhile. And some people are probably listening to this podcast, like trying to figure out like, what is the test retest response? It's difficult to explain in a podcast, obviously, but it's such a dramatic change in your patient interventions that you can't overlook it.
Yes.
And that's what was fascinating. What did you get from that, Vaughn? Because I know you saw it after you came back from Christmas break and started doing some of the stuff here.
I mean, when we started incorporating it and like with our patients and whatnot, and then like when they come in the next visit and then they show like results, it works. Because I've done it with my parents too.
Oh, you did it with your parents?
Yeah. And they significantly, like, they got better. So, like, stability-wise and everything, like, they're like, whoa, why is that? Like, how did it work? Are you a magician? I'm like, no. But it works. It works.
And so, like, and how many people have you given the exercises to? Kyrie, you were saying that you gave test retest on patients that you'd been working with, and you noticed an escalation in progress.
I'm not sure exactly the number, but I have just incorporated it into almost every day. I mean, and just seeing the results. I'm just curious about the longevity of the effects of these. So like I hope there's more research into it and seeing if the short-term effects carry over in the long term if we continue to do all of these exercises. What is the
takeaway you think? Especially, I mean, Vaughn, you're a student still. They don't teach stuff like this in school. A lot of this is about like that after you finish school kind of stuff. You know, most people start picking up on these kind of courses. What do you think is your biggest takeaway from having kind of picked this thing up so early?
It's good to know that like there's other stuff that like works for, you know, certain patients. And I don't know, it's just it's good for me because it's like a different technique, you know, learning new techniques. It's definitely a game changer, I would say, you know. And I would love to like see more of it, like not just in this clinic but like other places too.
Yeah.
Like it can be incorporated, you know, to other places.
But I mean, we're seeing the front edge of this Baber method thing. Like, there's a part of me that's still a little skeptical, Jeremy. I'm just being honest. Like, there's a part of me that's still a little skeptical about crossing over. So, those of you who haven't listened to the podcast, please go ahead and download the podcast, episode 1 and 2, where I'm talking with Jeremy Baber. But one of the things that this spoke to and really captured my attention about had to do with neuroplasticity and reorganizing the way that patients respond in that intervention, right?
Yes.
And we talk about neuroplasticity and constraint-induced therapies and all these things that we've done throughout the years, from NDT to PNF to neuro-IFRA. Shout out to Waleed out there. And what happens is we see some response, but I've never seen a response so big in a patient after and this is just a screen. And I hate sounding like a fanboy, but it works though.
Yeah.
It really does.
I mean, like
for me, especially with like chronic pain and psychosomatic pain and all of this, I feel like sometimes people treat, like, for example, an ortho case. It's just an ortho case. But I think this combines that there's a connection between the nervous system and the ortho aspect of things that I feel like people like, it's just knee pain. Oh, let's just treat the knee. But then don't realize that every ortho case is a neuro case. Because all of these muscles come from nerves that are supplying to those muscles. And sometimes if you don't have those neural pathways or they're impaired in some way, then you can't get the overall outcome without treating that nervous system impairment prior to treating the orthopedic problem that's present or the biomechanical problem that's present. So,
do you think that's, and I mean, we practice that all the time here, right? Like every ortho patient is a neuro patient. So we tend to edge on the side of focusing on the neural components of the pain. But do you think that that's like a commonplace thing in general? Like people, like we're just kind of making up how awesome it is because we focus on stuff like that. I don't know the answer. Like maybe you know the answer out there. Like how many of you out there really focus on the neural component of the orthopedic patient in order to get the response? Put your answer in the comment section below. Look, you see what they're doing in the comment section below?
oh, wherever.
Oh, I'm going like, what are you pointing at?
Because usually the comment section is like right
It's
here.
down there.
Oh, it's below.
Yeah,
oh,
it's
got
below.
you.
It's
Wherever
right
Kyra's
here.
pointing,
It's not there. It's down there.
It's not where. There we go. Got you. Wherever they're pointing at.
Like right here.
Put it in the comment section, please. In the comment section below. What are your doubts about this system?
I think that's what I was speaking about earlier is the longevity of it. Is it something that will retain? Like, is this something that people can really commit to for a long period of time that will be able to retain the results that they had in that short-term time period that they experienced? So I think that's it because it plays a big part on kind of, I guess, the long-term effects. So I just and I would love to see more data on it on a bigger population in different ethnic groups and all of, there's so many things that I feel like if it's just tested in one specific area, I feel like there could be a lot of confounding factors and confounding variables that could play a part in the results of a study, especially if it's an inner study of a specific researcher or therapist.
I think to piggyback off of what you're saying is that I know Jeremy traditionally looks at this from the standpoint of orthopedic patients and orthopedic patients with chronic pain syndromes, and we look at this from the neuro goggles, and essentially, the research is necessary. If you read the article that I think the neuro section put out from the APTA a little while ago, and it basically, I'm summarizing, so I don't want any hate mail for this one, but basically the neuro section says that there's not enough evidence to support some of the interventions that we provide as clinicians, and some of the stuff that we do may be anecdotal at best. This is kind of one of those things where you see the response immediately. It's kind of like, okay, is that anecdotal or is that really genuine response? And the test-retest has definitely supported that idea, but at the same time, it's like, could this be one of the newest, best approaches to clinical care, especially when we're talking about the one thing that we do as therapists, which is neuroplasticity, and this being that that magic bullet. I don't know.
Yeah.
Vaughn, you were going to say something.
No, I'm just agreeing.
I thought you were going to.
You gonna say something?
Go ahead, Vaughn.
Go ahead, Bob. I'm sorry.
It's Friday, so technically it's karaoke Friday.
Yes.
Who's singing first?
Me. Just kidding. I can't sing, but I'll go.
All right, so as we end this podcast, we're going to do something called the most interesting 5 things.
Ooh.
Most interesting 5 things. Are you ready?
Sure.
You ready to play along? Most interesting 5 things.
Of what? About what?
So I didn't tell you.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'm going to get to that, right?
Okay.
Sure.
So 5 most interesting things that we've seen on social media this week. 5 most interesting stories that you've seen on social media this week. Whoa.
I haven't really been on social media.
Wow, look at Kyra being responsible. That's why she didn't download the podcast.
I wasn't on social media this week.
Wow.
Let me see. I don't know. Most interesting? Well, I guess.
Okay. So stay tuned for our next episode of The Ask, where we will be joined by Senor Vaughn,
Yes.
our student,
Vancito.
and we're going to get to learn a little bit more about Vancito and his experiences as a PTA who has also served in...
The military.
That's right.
Army.
In the Army. See,
7
he said
years.
it. You're in the Army now, my friend. So welcome again to The Ask. Thank you for joining us on this episode. Stay tuned for more. I'm your host, Dr. Hanson PT, with my homie,
Kyra!
That's what's up. And joining us as a guest,
And Vancito.
Vancito in the house. So thank you very much again. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See us on Instagram and TikTok at Ask Dr. Hanson PT. And you can also now find us on Facebook at Ask Dr. Hanson PT. Boom. Stay tuned for more. I'm your host, and I'm out. I think I said that like 1,000 times. I don't think anybody's listening right now. Deuces.